Welcome to the FreeAgent webinar on how to use FreeAgent back to basics. This should roughly take 10 minutes. So, first things first. To log into FreeAgent, you will need your username and password that you set up from the link provided by your accountant and click Log Me In. Once you've logged into FreeAgent, you'll be taken to the overview page. This page shows the key figures for your company in real time. Before I go into detail of the overview page, I would like to show you how to personalize your FreeAgent by adding your company logo. To do this, you click on your name on the top right hand corner, which will allow you to go to your settings. You click company logo. You then choose file and find your company logo you wish to add and upload. This will then appear on all your invoices and anything else you wish to send out to your clients. I'm now going to go back to the overview page. So as you can see, at the top of the page, you have your cash flow chart. This shows you a summary of all the monies in and money out as they currently stand for your company. So as you scroll down, you can see on your left you have your invoice timeline. This shows the invoices that are overdue, the invoices that are due for payment, as well as the invoices that have been paid. And on your right, you have your business bank account, which shows the balance as from the last statement that has been added to FreeAgent. If you carry on scrolling down, you can see on your left you have your cash expenses that is due to yourself, and on the right you have your profit and loss timeline, which shows how much profit or loss you are making for the current year, and your tax timeline, which shows the estimated tax due to HMRC. Please note, once the due date for the tax has passed, the reminder will disappear from the timeline. If I just scroll back up to the top of the page, you can see the next tab along is contacts. This is where you can store all your clients' details and add new clients as and when they arise. So, to add a new contact, you click Add New Contact at the top right. You then fill in all the relevant details, such as a contact name, the company name, and any other relevant details, such as the business address. Once you're happy you've filled in all the relevant details, you can scroll down and click Create New Contact. This will then appear on your summary page. Now we understand the overview page and contacts, I'm going to talk to you about how you can add projects, timesheets and invoices onto FreeAgent. This can be found on the drop-down menu of the Work tab at the top. Let's start with projects. To create a project, you just click Add New Project. You complete the relevant information required. You can also add a budget to how long you think the project is going to take, and also your billing rate, whether it be hourly or daily. And you carry on scrolling down, and then you just click Create New Project. This will take you back to the summary page. Once you have created a project and you wish to add timesheets, you can do this by clicking on Time Tracking just underneath the Work tab. Click Add Weekly Timesheet. You can choose your relevant project that your timesheet relates to, how many hours were done each day, and once you are happy you've included all the information, just simply click Create Timesheet. This will help keep track of how many hours you have done compared to your budget if you set one. However, you do not have to log your hours if you do not want to. So once you are happy you've added your projects and timesheets, it's now time to invoice your client for the work you have done. So to do this, you click on Invoices at the top. This will take you to a summary of all the invoices raised. It will also point out any invoices that are due for payment, invoices that have been paid, and any invoices that are overdue. Please note, you can only link timesheets to projects and not invoices. To add a new invoice, you click Add New Invoice. You then choose the relevant information, like your client and your project. The invoice reference will automatically be generated. The relevant invoice date, as long as the payment terms and the currency. And then Create New Invoice. This will bring up your invoice in draft mode, which will allow you to add items to your invoice. To do this, simply click Add Invoice Item. You will need to determine if you are invoicing for the hours worked, or if it's for a service, an expense or a product. You'll need to enter a brief description as well as a unit price and simply click Create and Finish. So, for example, if you've worked 7 hours on the 5th of September 2017 for the rate of £50, this is what it would look like. So once you are happy with your invoice, you can either save as PDF, you can send the invoice to your client via email, or simply click the invoice's mark as sent. Please note, if you are VAT registered, FreeAgent will automatically calculate the VAT portion and include your VAT registration details on the invoice. I'm now going to talk about how to add expenses to FreeAgent. These are amounts incurred by you personally for business-related items and can be found under My Money, Expenses. To add a new expense, you simply click Add New Expense. You choose the person the expense relates to, the type of the expense, whether it be a payment or a refund, the category of the expense, so for example if you had a train ticket it would go under travel, the date on the receipt for the expense, the currency, whether it be pounds, euros, etc. from the drop down menu, the total value of your expense you are putting into FreeAgent, and a brief description. But please note, if you are VAT registered, you would need to include this VAT portion onto your expense. To do this, you can either add this automatically, you can manually enter the VAT portion on the receipt for the expense, or you can choose a percentage. Once you are happy you've added all the relevant details, you simply scroll down and click Create New Expense. This will then take you back to your summary page. Just a quick note, you can also add expenses via the mobile app that is available for free on your smart and Android phone. If you would like more details on this, please contact your accountant or you can see our website for some video tutorials. Once you are happy with adding invoices and expenses onto FreeAgent, you can now start adding your bank transactions. So if you click on the banking tab at the top of the page, you will then be taken to a summary of all the business bank accounts that are currently on FreeAgent. However, if you have recently set up a new company and a new business bank account, you can add this by clicking on Add New, choosing your bank account type, adding the account name, so here I'm just going to add current account 2, what the currency of the account is, whether it's active. If you carry on scrolling down, you can add the business bank name, the account number and sort code. This can be helpful if you have multiple banks such as a current account and a savings account. And you can also show these details on your invoices. And once you're happy, you can scroll down and click Create New Account. This will take you into the account itself. Now you're ready to start adding your bank transactions onto FreeAgent. You have a couple of ways of doing this, which are bank feeds and uploading the statements in a CSV format. If you would like to set up a bank feed, your dedicated accountant would be able to go over this with you in more detail, or you can visit our website for some video tutorials. I'm now going to show you how to upload a statement in a CSV format, which is available to download from your online banking. It is important that the format is correct, so if you would like a template, we are more than happy to send one to you. To upload a statement, you simply click Upload Statement on the top right hand corner, select Choose File, you then find your file, open, and click Upload Statement. This may take a while depending on how big your transactions are. It will then ask you to review your transactions, and as you can see, all your transactions are in red. This means you will need to explain them, which is when you put them in the correct category, whether it be an expense payment or sales receipt. I'm going to start explaining the transaction, so starting from the tops, you can see Buzzer Bricks has received a sales receipt from Birmingham Bricks for invoice 3 for the amount of £4,812.50. So to explain this, I simply click on the transaction. You can either have this as invoice receipt or sales, and then if it's an invoice receipt, FreeAgent will automatically select the invoice that the total amount relates to and simply click Explain Transaction. As you can see, your transaction has turned to green, which means FreeAgent has saved the transaction as well as the explanation. I'm now just going to go down and explain all the following transactions. So, the next transaction is a payment to Orange Genie for the amount of £150. So to explain this transaction, again I simply click on the transaction. This time the type will be payment. You'll need to decide whether the transaction includes VAT or not, and you'll also need to choose the category. So for this, Orange Genie is Buzzer Bricks accountant, so I'll put this under accountancy fees. You can see the description has automatically been generated, but if you would like to add more details you can. You can also add an attachment such as the purchase invoice. You would do this the same as uploading your company logo and explain transaction. The next transaction is a sales receipt from Cement Supplies for invoice 9. So again, I simply click on the transaction. I keep the type as invoice receipt. FreeAgent has picked up that this money coming in relates to invoice 9 and explain transaction. The next transaction is for a dividend. So when explaining payments that have been paid to yourself, such as this transaction, you would choose the type as money paid to user and as dividend. As you can see from the drop-down menu, you have an option for smart user payment. This means that FreeAgent will automatically allocate the transaction for you. However, the software does not always make the best choice and can affect any future tax plan your accountant may do for you. So I'm going to keep this as dividend and explain transaction. So the next transaction is for PAYE, which relates to HMRC. You're going to keep the type as payment. You're not going to include VAT. And on your category, if you drop down right to the bottom, you can see your taxes section. Here I'm just going to put PAYE NI. Keep your description as PAYE. If you wanted to add the quarter the payment relates to, you can. And explain transaction. And the final transaction that needs to be explained is for a payment type. I'm going to keep the VAT as automatic. And the category, as it's for train ticket, I'm going to find travel and keep the description as the same and explain transaction. So once you have explained all the transactions and you can no longer see any reds, your banking is up to date and this will be reflected on the overview page. Well, that's all for today and I hope you've enjoyed it, but should you have any questions, please feel free to contact your dedicated accountant for more advice. Alternatively, you can visit our website for some video tutorials.